Hmm. So you want to learn Ojibwe language and culture. You've come to the right place, Niji, to learn about it all. Welcome to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. La 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 la. Okay, hey, BOOZHOO. So you want to learn Ojibwe language and culture. You've come to the right place, Niji, to learn about it all. Welcome to NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. La, la, la. Okay, hey, BOOZHOO. Ah, sweetie.
What?
I love that song.
I know, we totally ripped it off from Michael Jackson.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? What song is that?
It's human nature. So you want... Or no, how's it go?
If they say why? Tell them I'm a pedophile. Why? Because my father was abusive. Hey everybody, BOOZHOO! Welcome to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. It is the live stream about Ojibwe language and culture. If you didn't know that from the song. My name is NANABOOZHOO. This is Natasha.
Okay, hey, BOOZHOO! BOOZHOO, Brandy Marie!
Hey, Brandy Marie's here. And Grassroots Indians too.
Hey, Grassroots Indians!
Let's get the stars up there.
Gold star for Brandy.
Mm-hmm.
And Grassroots Indians get the silver star.
Okay, hey. Yeah, it's good to see you guys. Welcome back to the show. Here on an ISHWAA ANAMA'E-GIIZHIGAD.
It's the day after prayer day.
ISHWAA ANAMA'E-GIIZHIGAD. So yeah, day after prayer day. I didn't go to church yesterday.
Well, I know.
Yeah, why am I telling you? I didn't go to church yesterday. Didn't feel like it. So there. Take that, God. No. I was kind of sick. I think I came down with the COVID.
No, you didn't.
Nah. I think I had the food poisoning. No, I wasn't even that sick. I was just tired. Sick and tired, I guess.
Sick and tired.
Mm-hmm. Oh, also here today, the rock star cartoonist. Hello, everyone. Michael Lyons. How you doing, Niji? I'm doing great. Yeah. You got big plans for ISHWAA ANAMA'E-GIIZHIGAD? Well, I don't know. I thought I would, go on a picnic, maybe do some recycling, and do some volunteer work. You're so full of it. Yeah, no, I have no plans. Okay, hey, la la la. I don't know. I can't get with it until Kaya Thunder is here.
I know. I don't even want to do the show until she shows up.
Yeah. Let's just wait till Kaya decides to show up. Hey, what do you know? She's here. BOOZHOO, Kaya. How you doing? And Lori Tyndall. Oh, Lori Tyndall. And Always Learning. Hikes. This show is getting so popular, sweetie.
I know.
I predict in a year, this whole show is just going to be 1 hour of us saying good morning to people. Oh, good morning, Always Learning. Good morning, Brenda Marie. Lori Tyndall. And then was like, well, that's all the time we have for today. That's not usually how live streams go.
No.
Most live streams are way more popular than ours. You know? Like, you don't even make a comment because there's like 21,000 people. Like, wow. And every 5 minutes, the guy's like, hey, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification, share it. We're being shadow banned. YouTube's afraid of the truth. And you're going, shadow banned? Well, if that's being shadow banned, how do I get shadow banned? You got 21,000 viewers who've all been banned from watching you. It's like, dude, I hate to burst your bubble. But, I mean, yeah, I think censorship is probably going on. But I think people want to believe they're being censored because it makes them feel, I don't know, censorable. You get a certain kind of rock and roll, punk rock legitimacy if somebody's trying to censor you. I don't know. That was sort of the death of the cartoon in a way.
What do you mean?
I remember when The Simpsons first came out. I was a cartoonist. And, I had a little notebook. I wrote down jokes, ideas for a comic strip. Like, oh, here's a good premise. Guy walks into a barber shop and blah. And then The Simpsons comes out. And in one episode, they had done so many more jokes than I had ever thought of in my comic strip. They were so... For cartoonists, The Simpsons, it was like... It felt like they reinvented cartoon humor. There were so many bits and punchlines throughout The Simpsons, I took it to a whole nother level. And it's not like I watch The Simpsons anymore or anything, but back in those days, in the 80s or whatever, it made me rethink what I was trying to do with cartoons. Why am I bringing up The Simpsons again?
I have no idea.
Something to do with Day After Prayer Day. That's my problem. First thing in the morning, I start a story and I don't know where it's going. Something about humor. And, yeah, beats me. Oh, being banned. Humor and, okay, now I remember. So The Simpsons really ushered in, and Fox Station or whatever. A lot of you kids won't remember this, but back in the days of the grandfathers, there were only 3 stations. Or there were 4, but PBS doesn't really count. There was ABC, CBS, and NBC. And if for some reason you couldn't find anything on those 3 stations, then you'd see what public television had. And that's where you'd find not The Simpsons, but Sesame Street. They should have just called it the Sesame Street station, because that's the only thing anybody watched on public television. So, so The Simpsons comes in, and now it's adult humor in little kid format. All the humor. I mean, it eventually evolved into really R-rated humor in South Park and Family Guy. Just no line, just walk way past any line of good taste or whatever. But especially in these kind of children formats, like cartoons. Before The Simpsons, there was, Bugs Bunny and, I mean, they were still good cartoons, the Pink Panther and stuff. But it wasn't that irreverent, you're going to get banned humor, censored humor. The Simpsons, without swearing, without saying anything that could be censored, just took that cartoon humor and, brought it to a whole other level. Redefined everything about that. Even redefined TV, I think. You know, The Simpsons could be anything. Some weeks they were a mystery. Sometimes it was like a sitcom. Sometimes, it was limitless. It was amazing, really. But that ushered in the age of, okay, if you want to be popular, get yourself censored. So here we have, I've mentioned this before, and I never bothered to learn his name, but, kind of he's not a hero by any means, but inspiration, or sort of the grandfather of the, What We Do Here, is Jim Henson. He came up with the, Sesame Street. And, he redefined that little kid. Kids always had stuffed animals, and there were always puppets, and there was marionettes. But Jim Henson came up with these mouth puppets, and he created a world with reoccurring characters, and humor, and drama, and education. And everyone went, hey, yeah, that's cool. Look at that. It's a puppet show, but there's human beings, and it's the age of TV. And here we go. This is a kid thing. And then Sesame Street viewers started getting older, and they said, okay, here's the Muppet Show. Oh, you like Alice Cooper, do you? Well, guess what? Guess who's going to be on the Muppet Show? Come watch the Muppet Show now. It's on prime time. And, it's growing up a little bit. Well, eventually Jim Henson dies from treatable pneumonia. He probably died from the COVID.
Yeah.
And, but he leaves behind a son and all his puppets and his staff and his cameras and everything. And so his son says, oh, I know. I'm going to make a movie with all these puppets, but I'm going to make it super dirty. It's going to be all about sex and drugs and, dangerous humor. This will really make people mad. And because Hollywood's a wasteland of non-creativity and just trying to deprave and degrade humanity, they went, yeah, sure. Oh, you're Jim Henson's son, are you? Yeah, you must be a genius too. So I don't even remember what the movie's called. Something like, I don't know. But it has the characters. Oh, here comes Big Bird. I mean, he's not quite Big Bird. Here's a different puppet. Here's a Big Bird, and it's a different color. And look, he's snorting cocaine. Oh, ha, ha. And, it's just shameful. I feel sorry for Jim Henson. And, of course, he's going to have, like, a low-life son.
Why do you say that?
Well, because by the time he had kids, Jim Henson was a multimillionaire. So his son would have grown up, in Beverly Hills or whatever.
That doesn't necessarily make him a piece of crap.
It totally makes him a piece of crap. Show me an example where it's not true. Have you ever seen Tom Hanks' son?
Yeah, what's his name?
Check out Tom Hanks' son sometime. He's a rapper. It's just the biggest, hilarious. But yeah, millionaire. Not that Tom Hanks is a genius, but beware of having a successful father. It's really hard to make anything of yourself if you grow up in the lap of luxury. That's why everybody's first album is always the best one.
Like rock stars?
Yeah. Because they wrote those songs when they were broke and working at a country kitchen in the, whatever. And just in their spare time and late at night and early in the mornings, they would write songs about how much they hated their lives and how they wish, whatever. And then eventually they get a band and they record their songs they've been writing for 25 years in their miserable lives. And then next thing you know, hey, there's a great album. And the record company says, hey, give us another one in 6 months. And that's why it's so hard. Oh, and here's $1 million. Now, the songwriter has that thing that fueled his creativity, his depression, his anxiety. his longing, his hunger. That's what they always say. I had the hunger. I was hungry for success. It's like, no, you were physically hungry because you had no money. And Jim Henson, he had a dream. He didn't want to work at a job. He wanted to do this thing. He wanted to create something. That was his art. And it worked. But his son can't do it, I think Jessica Waboos knows what I'm talking about. Hey, Jessica Waboos, me no giga jab. She says, Colin Hanks. Yeah, Colin Hanks. He's so great. I love that guy. He's a rapper. He's all covered in tattoos, and he's just the biggest douchebag. Oh, it must be so embarrassing to be Tom Hanks and to walk into a restaurant or something with Colin Hanks. Oh, cousin Missy's here. Hey, bonjour, Missy. Missy's here, sweetie. Bonjour, Missy. You find any homes for those little kittens? Come on, you guys. Missy's gonna kill those kittens if you don't adopt them.
No, she's not.
Oh yeah, she's got a plan. She asked me if she could borrow a hammer, and I was like, for what? She goes, oh, never mind. I'm like, what? She's planning something with a burlap sack and a hammer if the cats don't get adopted. I don't want to say any more than that because I might get her in trouble. Is it illegal to murder kittens?
Probably not.
It's not right. Hey, Brian Souls is here. Brian's here, sweetie.
Hey, Brian.
Jessica says, oh my gosh, I have to look up Colin Hanks now. I've seen him in a couple of movies, but never seen him as a rapper. Oh yeah, he's the worst. I mean, like he raps like he's from the hood. And he's like Tom Hanks' son. He's the son of the most famous person in the world, probably. Is there anyone more? Maybe Tom Cruise?
Yeah, Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks.
I've been watching, what else is great?
What?
Mission Impossible.
Oh, really? Is that a good movie?
No, it's the worst. Mission Impossible is just one. I mean, it's great. You watch Tom Hanks just fist pump running from any situation. He just risks to the 10th degree to achieve whatever goal, no matter the cost. And you're watching this movie of Tom Hanks and a guy who plays Superman running around trying to beat up each other, going after the detonator or something. And, just doing the most insane, taking the most stupid risks. Like, oh no, he's getting away. I'm going to jump on this rope that's tied to the helicopter and climb up the rope and then almost fall and then climb up again and just, he's jumping through windows. But he does it like the whole movie. Even at times that don't really warrant, like nobody else's life is at risk or anything. It's like, I got to get down, quick, downstairs. Smash a window, grab the fire hose, and just jump out the window, not knowing how long the hose is. And he swings around, he lands, and he's got to swing around. He's like Spider-Man out there. Swings in, smashes through another window, nearly kills his partners who have to save him at the last minute. He's like, sorry, I'm late. I'm like, what? You could have just taken the elevator, Tom. He goes, no. That's not what Xenu, the intergalactic warlord who came to Earth and put in the trapped souls of the other planets into the spirits of the cavemen, which is Scientology. You got to think Tom Hanks is probably like we never really we get to see him interviewed sometimes, and he doesn't seem like functionally retarded when he's interviewed, but he is so dumb, just thick, just so dumb, but So rich, so powerful. Not powerful, but, you know, catered to. Everybody's a suck up to Tom Cruise. Nobody ever challenges his ideas since 1983. So he thinks he's smart. And he's just the dumbest, you know. 3 wives he goes through. 3 women, married to one of the most handsome people, one of the wealthiest men in the world, famous, multiple homes, just life of luxury. And when they got to know him, they couldn't bear to be married to him one more day. Katie Holmes had to like sneak out at night or something. You know, he's such a weirdo, so dumb, that women are like, you know what? No, I guess I'd rather not be married to a handsome millionaire. You know, not just a handsome Tom Cruise. Yeah, he's gay, but you know. Would you marry Tom Cruise?
Absolutely not.
Who would you marry?
Outside of you?
Yeah.
Who's famous?
Yeah, if you had to marry a famous person, who would it be?
I don't know. They're all scumbags.
Yeah. That's weird. That's another change in the world. Now all our heroes are scumbags. WEWIIB. Hurry up. Come on. WEWIIB. Hurry up. BEKA. Wait. That's what David Bowie said in Labyrinth. Wait. Just look what I'm offering you. Your dreams. I ask for so little. Just love me, fear me, do as I say, and I will be your slave. BEKA, wait.
I love it when you just pull out random Labyrinth lines.
Yeah, I have that movie almost memorized. AMBE, come on. AMBE. AMBE. Wisenin. Wisenenda, come on, let's eat. WEWIIB, hurry up, it's getting cold. But BEKA, wait. Just wait a minute. Sometimes you just gotta wait. Huh, sweetie?
BEKA, wait!
Wait. Everyone's in such a hurry. Oh, I better get going. Oh, I better get up. Gotta speed around. I'm late for work. Yeah, well, just wait. They're not gonna fire you for strolling in 10 minutes late. Really? No. Are you so cowardly you don't like that little sideways glance from your boss? Huh? Oh, I guess I thought we started at 8 o'clock around here. Don't make me have to fire you. Yeah. That's why I never wanted to be a boss.
Why is that?
Because I didn't want to fire anybody. And I didn't want to have the job in the first place. But I remember one time I was a boss, and I had to fire this lady. She was a secretary, and I wasn't really a boss. I was a supervisor. So my boss told me I should fire this one of my underlings. And she was just worthless. She didn't do anything, and she didn't show up most of the time. Like half the time, she just wouldn't show up. She'd call in, you know, completely worthless. But decent, nice person, you know. I liked her. And we just didn't. She didn't do anything, and we didn't need her. It was her own fault. But I told her, I said, listen, they want me to can you. And I think, because I had the meeting, you know, and I was like, I'm not going to pretend to be one of these jerk bosses that says, look, I need you to start showing up for work, and you got to show some initiative, you know. I get it. You got this job, you know. You don't really need it, but whatever. But I'm going to have to let you go. So here's the deal. I can put this off for 2 weeks. I'll let you collect another paycheck. And I know we have a trip planned. I was sending the secretary on trips to other cities and whatever. I said, go ahead and take your trip. And but then when you come back from Denver or wherever, that'll be your last day. We'll have the real meeting then, and then I'll let you go. She's like, yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. I go, yeah, don't worry about it. How much vacation do you still have? Really trying to be nice about it. 2 weeks goes by. She goes on a trip, comes back, and I call her and say, okay, here we go. Here's your letter. Thank you for everything you've done, but your services are no longer required. And she starts crying.
Oh no, really?
Yeah. Crying and mad at me. I'm like, don't you remember what we talked about 3 weeks ago? I can't think of a more sugar-coated way I could have done this. Except lie to you and say, hey, by the way, layoffs. There's a budget thing. No, I didn't want to lie to you. You don't do anything. You're not here half the time. And it's time to go. But no. And a year later, she was still mad at me.
Really?
Yeah. She was dumb too. A lot of dumb people in the world. WEWIIB, hurry up. BEKA, wait. AMBE, come on. AMBE. We're really getting into the deep Ojibwe this morning, sweetie. MAAJAAN, to leave. It is time to MAAJAAN. If you want to say let's go or let's leave, you say MAAJAAG. Come on, everybody. Or if it's more than one person, you say MAAJAAG. MAAJAAG is the G. In Ojibwe, we don't really use that S like in English. We use a G. There's MAAJAAN and MAAJAAG. Come on, use MAAJAAGda. And add a da for like let's. Let's leave, everybody. MAAJAAGda. All right?
Got it. MAAJAAG.
MAAJAAG. MAAJAAG. What am I? MAAJAAG. I can't even say it. You know what I'm trying to say, you guys. Just getting the Ojibwe out of the way. Because I don't know what I want to talk about today.
What do you want to talk about today?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. What are you guys doing? What's the BOOZHOO crew up to? I guess that helps. Jessica Verboos says, yeah, Chet Hakes. His rap name is Chet Hayes. Yeah, that's right. He's Chet Hayes. He's a big pothead. Chet Hayes. It's not Colin Hanks, though, thankfully. Oh, Colin was the other one. That's right. He's got more than one kid. Tom and Rita. Rita Wilson. Wow. She must be a pain in the neck, too.
Rita Wilson?
Yeah. She marries Tom Hanks and still doesn't want to take his last name.
Well, she's her own person.
Yeah. She's strong and independent. She gets by on her talent. Rita Wilson. Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks bought you. Okay. Actually, I heard once that Tom Hanks did buy a girl.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a grown woman now who, you can look it up, it's probably censored, who claims Tom Hanks bought her from her father, or from a sex trafficker or something, when she was a little girl. She can't get no justice, because Tom Hanks is also a creep. They all are. You know, Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg's been controlling our minds since the 80s. Everything we think we know about the World War II, we learned from, Schindler's List. Everything we think we know about outer space and aliens, E.T. Schindler, or whatever. But he's a real creep, too. His first, what was the name? His company is called like NAMBLA or something. Not NAMBLA, but you mix up the letters. And his first movie is all about, it's a silent film about a gay guy who goes to the beach. And there's a bunch of gross gay stuff in there. And then, next thing you know, what do you know? Hollywood loves this guy. But then he grows up, has kids, and, he's America's sweetheart. Steven Spielberg, you can just count, Indiana Jones. He's the most beloved film creator in the world. And he has an adopted daughter. What does she do for a living? Oh, she's a porn actress. She got to start in stripping, but then graduated to pornography. Full-on porn. So proud. Brought her to the Grammys, And you're going, okay, wow. That sucks. Even though it's Steven Spielberg, I feel sad for any dad. That's the one job you have. Keep your daughters off the pole. But nope, he was too busy making, the Goonies or whatever. And so she grows up. So what happened to her, you can only imagine. But that's his legacy. Well done, Steven Spielberg. And there's my point again. Children of really successful people are doomed to be wretches. I like that term. Wretch. Hey, Missy. Sometimes I am really shocked. No, you're not. Oh, my. I had no idea. Yeah. Welcome to my world. Welcome to the rabbit hole. Look at the children of the super successful. And they turn out just damaged. I'm waiting to see what happens to Willow and that other little freak. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's offspring. He made them famous in kindergarten. I think we're going to see a drug overdose or a transition or something happen. They tried really hard. What was remember what was his name? The Fresh Prince. How do I know Willow, but I don't know her parents' names? Jaden. Willow and Jaden are the children of the most famous person in the world, whose name is escaping me right now. That guy. What's his name, Missy? I'm going to wait until someone can tell me the name of the most famous actor, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's his children, Jaden and Willow Smith. Mr. Smith. Blah, blah, Smith. I can't remember his name. I'm having a stroke. I don't remember his name either. Yeah, you never remember when I don't remember. That's so weird, too. Michael, what's the name of... Thank you. Will Smith. Will Smith. That's why he named his daughter Willow. Well, apparently Willow's a boy and Jaden's a girl. And they're both swapped. But, they have a really creepy... I got $20 that says before this is all over, Willow and Jaden get married. No way! Yep, that's my prediction. Prove me wrong, Willow and Jaden. The ball's in your court. I don't want to see any sick Hollywood sibling marriages going on here. It's bad enough that all those people we brought over from Afghanistan are married to children. What? You didn't hear about that? What's that? All the child brides that are coming over with the Afghanistan weirdos. No way. Yeah. I guess all that's important is that they get the vaccination and are wearing a mask. But yeah, that's a real problem in Afghanistan. Child brides. They marry off a child to a grown man. Ugh. Will Smith. Thank you, everybody. I don't know what happened. It just had a stroke. Couldn't remember Will Smith's name. I think the problem is I don't really think about these guys until I bring them up. I'm thinking I need to talk about celebrities more. Why? Well, because YouTube, if you talk about a celebrity, then more people want to watch. And I can't say, I'm that way too. I started watching this one truther video. I think it was called Pockets of the Future. Because he was always talking about Corey Haim. Or Corey, whatever, from My Two Corys. Speaking of Spielberg and Goonies, we just do little stories on what Corey Feldman, maybe that's his name, Corey Feldman, was up to. And Corey Feldman would be like, yeah, man, I was abused as a kid. Tune in next week and I might tell you who. It's somebody really famous. He never tells. He's just kind of, people are like, why are you dancing like Michael Jackson? Oh, we were best friends. Remember when I was a child star? And Michael Jackson, remember how he would have friends who were in movies? I was one of those friends too. Oh, was he the guy who abused you? I'll never tell, And you're like, shut up, Corey Feldman. You were tolerable in that movie about the 4 boys who find a dead body with Wesley Crusher. Lean on Me. I think you were in that movie. After that, nobody liked you again. And even in that movie, you were sort of the unlikable character. We liked Wesley Crusher. But we didn't like you in Lost Boys. We never saw you in Goonies. And nobody ever saw you since then. We just keep watching your music performances to laugh. Missy says, did he ever tell? Not really. He did a pay-per-view. This is the other hilarious thing. He did a pay-per-view YouTube special where he was going to reveal these big names in Hollywood. And he kind of implied that Charlie Sheen abused Corey Haim. And no, I don't think he ever quite said that Charlie Sheen abused him. No, he didn't really. He alluded to some people nobody had heard of who were in the music or the business somehow. But he didn't give details at all. But that's what makes him so funny. It was just time and again, Corey Feldman comes out with like some way to get some attention and some money from people. He goes on a morning show and does a musical performance with his angels, his 3 bimbos who pretend to play the guitar. And he comes out there and does Michael Jackson moves. And it's so bad, it's fun to watch. I could actually play one of his videos. That would be pretty funny. Jessica says, he's like, I'm not saying that it was Charlie Sheen, but to be was Charlie Sheen. But it be was Charlie Sheen. Thank you for paying to see my movie. Yeah, exactly. So apparently Charlie Sheen's a pedophile, gay pedophile too. 2.5 Men. What a hilarious... That was the most popular show on TV.
I know. How is that possible?
Either people are even dumber than we think, or that is really... They just have nothing to offer. The whole machine that creates entertainment in Hollywood or wherever. They can make something popular. People have to watch. It's on. They're eating. It's the TV. They release news stories about the actors in the show. So 2.5 Men, #1 rated show. So many people watching every week that would justify paying the actor who's, those shows are 20 minutes long. I do the length of 3.5 Men every day on this thing. And I get more laughs. But, yeah. And what was the premise? I was a rich drunk who has sex with prostitutes. And my brother moves in? Is that supposed to be his brother? So, the show was so bad, you didn't even understand the premise. Some other guy moves in with him. Maybe it's his brother. Probably his brother. And there's a big fat transgendered maid that shows up once in a while. She's all white trashy. And then there's a fat kid who's got no personality. And they try to create stories while kind of standing in the kitchen of a modest condo. You're like, what is the point of this again? Oh, but it's Charlie Sheen. Didn't you hear? He does drugs. And, you know, he got arrested for being with a prostitute who's dressed up like Wonder Woman. But he does have tiger's blood. Grassroots reminds us of that.
Yeah.
He does have the tiger's blood. I wonder what blood quantum of tiger Charlie Sheen is. You know, is he going to claim to be full-blooded tiger? I don't think so. I think he's a descendant of tigers. Is he enough in blood quantum to get enrolled in the tiger reservation? These are the questions people have. Jessica says, we watched this other documentary by the girl who was Punky Brewster, and she talks about losing her virginity to someone she really loved, but doesn't say who. And at the end, you find out Charlie Sheen. Ugh. Well, she probably got chlamydia on that day. Yeah, he's got AIDS, doesn't he?
I think so, if you can believe anything.
Yeah. So Punky Brewster lost her virginity to Charlie Sheen? I never saw Punky Brewster. Is that the one where she was a robot?
I don't think so.
What was the one where the little girl was a robot?
I don't know.
She loses her virginity to Charlie Sheen. You know who else has been raked over the coals over the years? Chachi.
Yeah. What's his real name?
Let's not do this. The guy who plays Chachi, Eric Estrada or whatever. I know it's not him. He's been accused of rape left and right. And Charles in Charge, you know. He's hooking up with all the preteen girls. So Charles is in charge. The whole that whole show is gross. It's just as bad as 2.5 Men. Thank you, Missy. Scott Baio. So Scott Baio is a grown man, shows up and wants to be a babysitter for these 3 young blonde girls. One who might be of age. I'm not sure how that works. And then 2 which are definitely not. And he's all like cool. He's, you know, Scott Baio. And they go, yeah, will you stay alone with my daughters who all clearly have a crush on you? And he's like, sure, if you pay me. All right. Charles in charge of my days and my nights. If you read the lyrics of the Charles in Charge theme song, it's really creepy too. You know. But so turns out, yeah, in fact, whether it was consensual or blah 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 details. Oh, what a shock! Scott Baio, you know, was rapey. Well, now he's all grown up and he's like, I never raped anybody. These girls came on to me. And I guess Joni from Joni Loves Chachi, she ended up in a trailer park. You know. Or when I kiss your lips, and there's no tenderness like before in a fingertips. Oh, I think we're back on.
Okay.
Hi. Welcome back to the show. This would have been a good time for us to switch spots.
I know.
Now I got to look for a song.
Doggone it.
Where am I going to find a song on this late of the day?
You could take a call instead.
I could, couldn't I? I'm going to play a song.
Okay.
Let's go to downloads. And we could do a song for Leech Lake. We could do Run to the Hills. John Prine. Kiss tune. How about... Here's a song. Do you remember? Gimmick Wayne Danana. Do you remember? Never forget. Today, we honor the fallen heroes of 9/13. Never forget 9/13. It was on 9/13, 20 years ago today. It had only been 2 days since 9/11. And already, people were moving on with their lives. Already people were starting to forget. People were like, hey, where are you going? Oh, I was going to go to work at the World Trade Center. No, it fell, remember? And I go, oh, that's right. How silly. Just like that. It's only been 2 days and already I forgot that 9/11 happened. I was going to go back to my job at the Twin Towers. Well, I guess I'll just have to go take a tour of the Pentagon. No, silly, remember? What's that? The Pentagon got attacked too. Oh, that's right. It seems so long ago. But it's only been 2 days. So, Gimmick Wayne Day Nana. Do you remember? And up next, the lovely and talented Natasha. Okay. Hey, BOOZHOO! Welcome back to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am NANABOOZHOO, and today on the show, we got a couple of really good songs for you. Michael Lyons and Natasha are going to sing a song. What's this one called? I think we're calling it Gimmick Wayne Day Nana. Oh, yeah. Gimmick Wayne Day Nana. Do you remember? And what's the other song called? And then we're doing a song about Leech Lake. And then Gazagasqua Jamaica. Leech Lake. You know, I was reading up on Leech Lake. And did you know that Leech Lake was the third largest lake in Minnesota? No, I guess I didn't. Yeah. I suppose Red Lake's the biggest one, huh? I don't know. All right. Well, take it away, you guys. Gimmick Wayne Day Nana. Do you remember? Gimmick Wayne Day Nana. Do you remember? In Ojibwe I say, for do you remember? Gimmick Wayne Day Nana means do you remember? Do you remember? I remember one day, and you and me in the pouring rain, water ran down my chin. So you pulled me close and you drank it in, but I remember your ways, and you and me in a sad embrace, and I remember a place where you pulled me close and you kissed my face. Will I ever see you again? No, I don't think I'll ever see you again. And I remember one night and the casual fight by candlelight as the room grew dim. You lied to me when you talked about him. I remember your ways, and you and me in a sad embrace. And I remember a place where you pulled me close and you kissed my face. Will I ever see you again? No, I don't think I'll ever see you again. Will I? Will I ever see you again? No, I
La 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 la.
don't think I'll ever see you again.
Ever see you again? La la la. Don't think I'll ever see you again. Ah, BOOZHOO! Give Wayne Day Nana. Do you remember? That was a nice song, Michael.
Hey, thanks.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to the show. If you'd like to support BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, we've got a PayPal, and we've got a Patreon, and we got a GoFundMe, and you can order books at Amazon.com. Order books today. Do it! No, just kidding. So what do you think, sweetie?
What do I think about what?
I don't know. About the superstars, about the celebrities, about the actors, the players, the performers, and the portrayers.
Are you quoting Shakespeare?
Yep. All the world's indeed a stage, and we are merely players, performers, and portrayers. Actually, I think I'm quoting Rush.
Yeah.
All the world's indeed a stage, and we are merely players, performers, and portrayers. I don't know. Missy says he was a lover too, Robert Downey Jr. Missy says, loser, not lover. He was a lover, not a fighter. No, he's a loser. Really is? You're telling me Iron Man's not all he seems on the movies? Yeah. I know, it's so disappointing. It turns out the whole cast of the Avengers are a bunch of... It shouldn't surprise anybody, but... You know, a bunch of woke, mamby-pamby... They're just the theater majors on steroids. You know? Like if Captain America, you know, if you can meet him in real life, I'm sure he's just a flamer. But, yeah. Yeah, I think, didn't he go to jail for drugs or something? I don't know. I mean, if you can't believe in Scott Baio, what's the point? You know, if I lose my faith in Scott Baio, I just don't know if I can carry on. What are you going to tell me, Henry Winkler isn't awesome next? I mean, they really, they tore down all our heroes. Maybe that's why it's the apocalypse. The unveiling, we're learning what people are really like. People we thought were awesome, like Bill Cosby. Remember how Bill Cosby was? I mean, say what you will. He seemed really, really nice. We all liked him. You know, thought he was funny. We thought he was smart, at least. You know, and he was like Dr. Huxtable. But it was a sitcom in Hollywood. Shouldn't surprise us. I mean, look what happened to Lisa Bonet. Lisa Boney, they should call her. She looks like she's been around the block. But yeah, they gave us Bill Cosby, and then they went, oh no, he's a creep. He likes to drug women. And he told you for years. Who else fell from grace? Michael Jackson, he was the first one. Should we get Michael Jackson on the line?
You want me to call Michael Jackson?
Yeah. You know, he was the first one. You know, he was the most popular person in the world. And he was kind of known for being, like, good with kids and stuff. People forget that. But by the time it was all over, his name became synonymous with, you know, what Jeffrey Epstein's known for.
All right, let's see. Okay, hang on. It's ringing. Okay, is this Michael Jackson? Yeah, how you doing? That's NANABOOZHOO. Yeah, from the NANABOOZHOO podcast. You want to be on the show this morning? Yeah, Natasha wants to talk to you. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna transfer you. Okay, he's on line 2, sweetie.
Okay, thanks. Hey, Michael Jackson. Welcome back to the show. Allegedly. What are you talking about? Oh, I'm sorry. I just got so used to saying allegedly that sometimes I forget. How you doing? I'm doing great. I'm bad. Hee hee. Yeah, I know you are. That's kind of the problem. Allegedly. Can I ask you a question? Well, sure. You can ask me anything. I'll tell you anything, Natasha. Well, how did it make you feel the first time people accused you of doing the worst thing in the world? They're ignorant. They're ignorant. I would never hurt a child. I'm basically a child myself. Yeah, that excuse kind of wore thin after a while. No, I would sooner slit my wrist than to ever hurt a child. If somebody told me one day that there were no more children in the world, I would just jump off the ledge and kill myself. Yeah, you've said that before. Which is also creepy. No, if there were no children around, there'd be no one for me to love. Yeah, that's the issue. No, allegedly. Okay. So you didn't like it when people started to question why you'd have hot tub parties with 7-year-old boys? Allegedly. Yeah, why your maid alleged that she found all kinds of little boys' underwear in the hot tub? I've been instructed by my legal counsel not to say anything. Your legal counsel? Everybody thinks you're dead. I know, they're so silly. Yeah, huh? So, how's everything else? Oh, it's pretty good, I've just been singing and dancing and playing with my baby dolls. Yeah, that was another one. Remember that? When they raided Michael Jackson's house and they found that he actually had baby dolls?
Yeah, he admitted it on that interview with, what's his face?
Yeah, remember that time you did that interview? So stupid. It was a documentary and Martin Bashir, I think? Yeah, Martin Bashir. He's a poo-poo head. Well, yeah. Years ago, Michael Jackson invites Martin Bashir. Why did you do that? Well, Martin Bashir did a documentary on Princess Di. And Princess Di was my friend. And so I thought, well, why don't I have a documentary done on me? Yeah. So you invite Bashir into your house, and he finds out and exposes how truly bizarre you are. And I think eventually it led to his first, arrest or whatever. Wasn't that the time when you took blanket and dangled him out the window? Yeah, I wanted to see if you could fly. We could fly. I could fly. No, you can't. I'm Peter Pan. No, you're not. I'm Peter Pan in my heart. Okay. Anyway. So, what else? Can I teach the Ojibwe word of the day? Yeah, sure. You want to teach Ojibwe? Well, we got WEWIIB. Hurry up. WEWIIB. Hurry up. Hee hee. Yep. And then we also have BEKA. BEKA. Now, what does that mean? That means wait. BEKA. Now, wait. That's what I said when the police came to my door and they wanted to look at my private stuff. I was like, wait. And then they were like, can we take a picture of your wiener? And I was like, hey, BEKA. No, you can't take a picture of my wiener. But they did. Yeah, I remember. And then there was AMBE. Come on. AMBE. Come on. Come on, come, do it up slowly. He got hee, who'd you apple, hee. Yeah, kind of like that. He come on, slut up, he come, do it up slowly. He got roly-poly, he know, like a do. I know you, Michael Jackson, got to be a joker 'cause he's so hard to see. Come together, hee. Right now. Nah. Natasha, you got a beautiful voice. Oh, thanks. You want to teach some more Ojibwe? Yeah, I'd like to teach Ojibwe language. Okay, take it easy. MAAJAAN. Leave. MAAJAAN. That's what I said to the police when they came to my house and were like, hey, we want to take a picture of your wiener. And I said, no, you should leave. MAAJAAN. Yeah, but there was a whole bunch of police. So you would have used the plural. And you would have said MAAJAG. I should have said MAAJAG. Right. Hee Shamoa. Yeah, exactly. And those are the Ojibwe words of the day. Well, I gotta tell you, Natasha, I learned so much watching your show. Well, thanks, Michael. And, let me just go on record saying, in spite of everything, all the abuse, all the satanic stuff you're involved in, the general degrading of the human spirit, and everything that was wrong about you, I still like you. Well, thanks, Natasha. Yeah, you call back any time. I will. Okay, I better get going. Okay, Gigawabaman Manawa. Hee hee. Hey, Gigawabaman Manawa. I can't believe it.
Yeah, he knows a little Ojibwe.
I guess people are learning something after all. Well, everybody, I think it's time for us to MAAJAAN. It is time we should be going. Sweetie, would you like to add anything before I sign out for the day?
No, that's pretty good. Will you tell him I said hi?
NANABOOZHOO says BOOZHOO. Get it? BOOZHOO, NANABOOZHOO.
I get it.
All right, everybody. I hate to say it, but it's time for us to go. But me quench gonna wabi egg. Thank you for watching. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. The podcast about Ojibwe language and culture and trashing celebrities, I guess. I am Natasha. This is NANABOOZHOO.
Okay, miigwech.
This is Michael Lyons, who I don't think said much today.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
And I will see you again. Gigawabamin. Mitawa. Sweetie?
Would you like to teleport?
Yes, please.
1 to teleport. Sweetie?
What?
You gotta say energize.
All right. Energize.